What's up, guys? So here are my picks for UFC on ESPN 13. Kattar versus Calvin Kattar versus Dan Ihe, and normally I like to do the entire main card and then at the very least one or two of the prelims. But since this event is Wednesday night, I haven't had the time to do the research and everything that I always do. So I'm just doing the main card today. But by Wednesday morning, I should have all my picks ready. So if anyone has any questions, just leave it in the comments. And I always answer. I always try to answer. So let's get to it. Calvin Kattar versus Dan Ihe. I have Calvin Kattar all day on this one. It's both of these like to box. That is where they shine, the boxing. But I just think that Kattar's boxing is better than Ihe's, and it's just simple as that. On everything, I think his not just that, but the size, the speed. So usually when two fighters like these ones are good at something, like boxing in this case, then that's when it really plays into a factor more. The size between the guys, like for example, Kattar. See, I have it right here. It's being a little slow. So Kattar is 5'11", and Dan Ihe is 5'7". Kattar is 72 inch reach, and Ihe is 71. But with the height, it becomes that much pronounced. So I have Kattar on this one. I think he's gonna stop Ihe by KO in the second round. In their last fight, Kattar completely outstruck and finished Jeremy Stevens with a crazy quick elbow in the second round, and then he beat Barboza by, I can't remember if it was split decision. Yeah, split decision. A fight that I thought he lost. So round one for sure went to Barboza. No questions. And round two is the one round that some people say some people say Barboza, but I watched the fight again just to remind myself, and I think Barboza did enough at the end of the second round to steal that round. He did that liver shot that hurt Ihe, like you could tell he was hurt, and landed some nice ground and pound, and he was for about a minute. So I for sure gave it to Barboza. I think it should have been 29-28 Barboza, because Barboza clearly lost round three. And that's the thing, though. Barboza was landing hands. For as good of a striker. Two things about Barboza. Good. I've always talked about he's an amazing offensive striker, but he's not the best defensive striker. He gets hit a lot. He eats a lot of shots. But even then, besides that, on his offensive, he's known for the kicks, and then the unorthodox things he does, like the wheel kicks, flying knees, spinning kicks to the body. He's not really known for his hands, and he was able to land a lot of good shots with his hands on Ihe. Calvin Kattar should be more than Calvin Kattar's hands or boxing is way better than Barboza's. So to me, Kattar all day on this one. I think Ihe's gonna go there and try to box with Kattar, and he's gonna be on the wrong side of the fight. He's gonna be the one eating shots. And yeah, so I have Kattar KO TKO round two. I think he will outbox him and eventually land something clean on the second round and finish him. Like I said, Barboza, not known for a powerful guy with his hands or his hand. He was able to land a lot of clean shots. Kattar can certainly do it and get the job done. So Kattar by KO or TKO round two. Then we have Tim Elliot versus Ryan Benoit. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have the underdog on this one. I'm actually picking Ryan Benoit to win by decision. I think his striking. I think it's going to come down to the stand-up, where he'll keep it standing, and and outstrike Tim Elliot. I mean, this guy knocked out Sergio Pettis. What was it as submission? I can't remember. He lost a split decision to Brandon Moreno, who's a really good guy. And Tim Elliot, if you look at his last fight, and in his last fight, Benoit, he lost a split decision to Healy Alateng after being almost 3 years away from the octagon. So I am convinced had he not had that 3-year layup, he would have walked through Alateng. So I think this time he's going to be even more well prepared to fight Tim Elliot. And Tim Elliot, if you look at his last fight versus Brandon Royval, well, first of all, he was gassed almost at the beginning of round 2, and his stand-up was almost non-existent. Like, I was not impressed at all by his striking. If he takes it down, can he get a submission? Absolutely. I can totally see that happen. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be the game plan. Take Ryan Benoit down and try to submit him. And I just know that Benoit is going to be well prepared for it. Because I think that is Tim Elliott's... that is what he has to do if he has to win this fight. But I don't think he'll be able to. I think Benoit keeps it standing and pulls a decision. Outstrikes him into a decision. So that's one of the underdog that I have, Ryan Benoit by decision. We'll see what happens. Then Jimmy Rivera versus Cody Stamann. I have Rivera by decision all day. It's funny, I just talked about Cody Stamann just maybe a few weeks ago, not even a month ago, a little over a month ago. I picked him to beat Kelleher by decision. He won by decision. This time I'm picking him to lose by decision. You know, if you watch the few times that I've covered Stamann, this guy's not a finisher. You know, I was talking about how he reminds me of Elias Theodorou, a guy that just does enough on the stand-up to pull decisions, but there's no risk of him finishing the fight or anything. I think his best chance to win this is to do what he does, you know? I mean, this guy is what you call well-rounded, but not really, he doesn't really shine anywhere, you know? He's a well-rounded, but like a middle-level well-rounded. And Jimmy Rivera is actually a decent, well-rounded guy. If you watch his fight with Peter Yan last time, that first round was competitive up until like the last 10 seconds where he ate that hook. But this fight is kind of like the one between Tim Elliott and Benoit. I think Jimmy Rivera keeps it standing and just outpoints Stamann into a decision. I don't even give Stamann a puncher's chance because this guy has shown that he's a decision maker. So we'll see what happens, you know. Like I said, reminds me of Elias Theodorou. But, you know, Rivera is still a top-level guy. The quality of opponents, you know, Rivera has had Peter Yan, Sterling, Marlon Moraes. He beat Thomas Almeida, who I think is a better striker than Cody Stamann. So Rivera by decision on this one. Molly McCann and Talia Santos. Look, I'm not gonna bullshit y'all. I don't know much about this one, except that I have Molly McCann by decision. I saw a few highlights, and I'm going on this one. You know, I don't like to bullshit anyone. I'm going on this one based on what a lot of people are telling me. So I'm gonna take credit for something that is not really mine, but you know, I'm just gonna go with it. Molly McCann by decision. The one thing about Talia Santos that stands out, or doesn't really stand out, but it's noticeable, is that other than her last 2 wins, other than her last 2 fights, the ones before that are girls that had like a 0 MMA record or 0-1 MMA record or 1-2, just like people that seems like they were either making their debuts or they were nobodies. Now she's fighting a girl that has had 5 fights in the UFC. So McCann by decision. If you want more details, more of a breakdown into the skill, there's a lot of, you know, people on YouTube that will tell you about it. But yeah. And then Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Monir Lazzez. I don't know if this is the first time that I get to talk about. Let me see real quick. I think I've covered him once since I opened my channel. Yeah, I talked to him when he fought Nico Price. I picked him. I remember that one. I picked him to win by KO round 1. He won by KO round 1. I remember I was talking about this when I'm sure I mentioned it back then, and I'm gonna do it again. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that is a monster in the first round. You cannot pick a better example than Abdul Razak Alhassan. If you look at his record, out of his 10 wins, 2, 3, actually, all his wins are in the first round. Yeah, think about that. Every single one of his wins is in the first round. And out of the 10 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, I mean, this is just incredible. So out of the 10 wins, all of them in the first round, 6 of them under a minute. I mean, that should show you this guy in the first round, in the first minute, is a monster. Like, this guy is, he reminds me of he's like the welterweight Anthony Rumble Johnson, you know? If he touches you in the first round, you're going to sleep. And his last fight with Nico Price decided to go into that fight and slug it out, and well, he got what he asked for. You know, he got put to sleep in under a minute, 43 seconds. He's taking so I mean, I'm pretty sure I've been very clear about this guy's power and explosiveness in that first round, because those are all his wins. Not too really much, except for the one he lost by split decision to Omari Akhmedov over 3 years ago. So he's taking on Munir Lazzez. So I have never heard of this guy. This is kind of repeating I'm hoping it's not a repetition of the one with Jerry Prochaska. But I never heard of him, so I went and looked at his last fight. And the guy's good. Unlike Jerry Prochaska, when I saw his videos, I was like, other than power, I didn't really see anything. This guy, Munir Lazzez, actually looks very technical, very fast, and he looks like an amazing striker. This one, I'm not super confident, and the only reason I'm not super confident, so I'm picking Razak Alhassan by knockout, round 1. The only reason I'm not too confident is because he hasn't fought in almost 2 years. So you always have to wonder, because he got accused of raping 2 girls, and he finally got cleared. So you have to wonder, you know, if he's gonna be a little rusty. And you also have to wonder what happens if Lazzez, you know, survives the early storm and he goes into the later rounds. The guy has skill to, you know, if Razak gasses, I could totally see Lazzez, you know, turning it around and beating him. He could very well. There's been a lot of fights where the guy goes and survives the early storm and then they win. The most recent was Devin Clark and Manifield. Which I picked Clark, by the way. It was a good underdog to pick, but same situation, you know. He went there, he survived the first one, and then he won. Lazzez could very well do the same, and especially with the almost 2 year layoff. But the reason I'm picking Alhassan is because he's brutal monster power and the quality of opponents. I mean, this guy has been fighting UFC level guys, so yeah. So here's a summary. Kattar by KO or TKO round 2. Ryan Benoit by decision. Not super confident. I'm like 60-40. But that is my upset. Jimmy Rivera by decision. McCann by decision. And Abdul Razak Alhassan by KO or KO, brutal KO round 1. But if Lazzez survives, he could very well turn around and pull the upset. So let's see what happens. Have a good one.